Hello, hello. It's been a while now. I've not been there. I have been taking time to do some other things. Um, my talk show is will not be regular for some time to come because I have another project I'm doing. But I'll be back. Um, I'm trying to get one or two things together to celebrate my 77 in March, inshallah. I pray and I look forward to the date. That'll be March 2024. I'll be 77 and I look forward to celebrating it with one or two ideas and programs. You will all be notified. And that's why I want to ask friends and family, viewers, subscribers to please share this, my show, with friends and family also, with other people that I don't know. Let them get to hear and see Otumba who on Otumba who latest TV. Um, I have been on show like this for some time. I've been doing it for a while. I love talking to people, supporting people, and it gives me a lot of pleasure. That's where I derive my joy. Like another thing, some people get satisfaction, they derive joy from drinking, smoking, and some other things. Well, who am I to start blaming anybody? People do what they like to do to get them to enjoy life. So I want to appreciate everybody. I want to appreciate those of you who have signed on now, who have started watching this show. I'm expecting my guest. My guest is, even though he doesn't want to be called High Chief, but I call him High Chief. He's an achiever. He's a highly intellectual, highly intelligent, well-to-do, civilized, exposed, experienced, bona fide Omo Ogun State. And he'll be joining me shortly, and I'll be rubbing mine with him. We'll be talking about on and about Nigeria and also matters arising also about Nigeria and another area of my passion, that is something and everything to do with Yoruba self-determination movement. I'm ingrained into it. I'm part of it. I love it. I want to carry on till the day I die. But hopefully before then, we'll have achieved our quest for Yoruba nation. A nation that I have no doubt in my mind that will prosper, will get the Yoruba people, the race, to a higher level. I've also said to my friends and family that there are certain things that need to be done that I believe have not been done yet. However, we're going to get there. When you building a house, you want to start from scratch. You then from level to level get to different part of the building. Sometimes you remember, say, oh, but then again, there's certain things you can still fix. But the fundamentals of building a house is you need to have a land. As much as the Chinese are making everything possible and impossible, they still need to build a structure on top of the land, whether they go under the sea. Because under the sea, I'm sure there's still like land there. So We have our land already, and the land is southwestern part of Nigeria as we speak. So it's going to be a thing of joy to see the liberation of that particular part of the country. And I say this with all full of responsibility. I genuinely believe Nigeria is ripe. It's grown to a point where when we say we want to break, it's not necessarily negative, but I think it's getting to a point where we need to uh, break it up, rebuild, rearrange, readdress, redesign. It's nothing new, nothing bad in that. Nobody's losing anything in that. Just to make a greater part of everybody. One thing nobody has denied, and one thing nobody has taken away that is not correct, that is not right, is that there are many nations in the country called Nigeria. That is the truth. For me at my age, I don't deal with any other thing but to deal and take truth to the altar, take it to the table. There are many nations in the country called Nigeria. And when we able to sit down to talk about how best to rearrange the contraption, the better. Yeah, that when we get to a point that a nation in that country do not feel depressed, suppressed, oppressed, I think the best thing is to have all our own arrangements encompassed. And then we can work together. There's plenty of room to work together, to interact regularly, business, economy, social, cultural, and so on and so forth. Life goes on endless. I don't subscribe to people that say, are you a party? I don't know about it. I don't know about that. All I know that we are born, we are going to die one day, whether we like it or not. Whether you like it or not, we are born one day and we are going to die one day. So but while we are here, let us contribute to good things that will make everybody happy, or some people at least, and not to be a, a catalyst of bad things. You get nothing for being bad. For those who are extremely good, they still have issues with some people. So without further ado, again, like I said, it's another show today. Today is Sunday, 14th January 2024. Let me seize this opportunity again to wish everybody Happy New Year again. I have done that several times directly to people who got in touch with me directly, and also done it on most of my platforms. So, and if I say, ọdún ayọ̀ ló máa jẹ́ fún gbogbo wa, inú wa dùn, ẹ̀mí wa ṣe púpọ̀ ẹ̀. We will all live longer and longer to witness more years to come. Because every time we scale through, we get to the next year. 1st of January of every year, say, yeah, ooh, we're all happy. We're all happy. And it's a thing to be happy about, because it's very, very unfortunate to note that a second to 1st of January of every year, some people will die. They will not witness that new year. So again, at the end of the day, whatever we do, whatever we want to do, we continue to pray. And may the Almighty continue to bless us, to give us good health, blessings, happiness, until such a time that when the time comes where you cannot run away, and that is where you cannot run away from death. So you say, why are you talking about that? I watched a clip today. It was a young girl who was talking about life and death. These are reality. These are things you cannot run away from. Not that the more you talk about it, it's going to happen, but trying to run away from it, it's just like it's a story of one of the one of the very very good friends to death. Of course, they do have friends. Those who are his friends may be those who will uh, he will not go to kill them. You know, death uses the different type of modes of death. It depends. It depends on what he chooses for. You and I, we don't know it. 20 million imams, pastors, whatever, they cannot. I think my hold on. Hello, 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 chief. Hello, hello, chief. Hello. That's my guest calling me from New York, America. I hope there's another. Okay, let me call him again. So we we celebrate life, and we also celebrate death. As you can see, most of us are in denial, but we don't need to be in denial. Why? Why should we be in denial? Death is death. There's nothing anybody can do about it. So whether we like it or not, nothing anybody can do about it. And I said it, I want to repeat. So let me get back to my client. I'm sorry, I'm used to client. Those are holding this one is talking about the client. Uh, this is my guest. I wonder what exactly is the problem. But please, 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 this is part of the show. Just stay with me, continue enjoying the show. There'll be different things we'll be talking about. And I'll be very happy if you hear from this gentleman. He's such a wonderful, nice man who has achieved a lot. And he's doing very well. I bring people whom I believe you and I can learn from them. Uh, yes. I also understand that people want to know certain things, but they have no access to it. Just like talking of library in Nigeria. Where's the library? So the library is not really common out there. Even the library attached to institutions in Nigeria, some of them are empty. You know, but again, we don't want to stay on this program to start criticizing. It's not my style. I'm a kind of a solution driven person. I'm more interested in what are solutions. Because the way it is, the easiest thing to do is to start talking about criticism. We criticize a lot, we like it. Ah, Charlie Awanaja, we will want to criticize. They do this, they do that. And the beauty of criticism is something that it goes nowhere. You know, yeah, a large number of emotion. making noise, creating unnecessary fear instead of talking to solutions. So again, I'm very, very happy to be on this show again. I, like I said, it's becoming a show of, I don't want to call it a show of Awon Agbagba. No, no, no. It's for everybody. I still have a youth. I have a 21-year-old, lovely, very pretty young girl. I also have 27. I also have other adopted girls and boys in their young age. And what I say to them is, this is the area where you are today that I passed about 50 years ago. So do what you have to do, because there are another 50 years add to your age today to make you to be in the 70s. And then you can look back and say, well, I've done this, I've done that. It's the time to slug it out in whichever environment you find yourself. So the youth are also welcome. So again, please share this show with friends and family. Everybody like it, love it, subscribe. And I can also say to you that the more subscription I have may not necessarily bring me money, but it will give me the joy of, once I want to go on here, you'll be the first to know about it. So um, join me to share, like, love, subscribe, and give me the thumb ahead, the thumb up, thumb up, thumb up. Well, it gives me only joy. And click the notification button that whenever I start preparing the studio via either Facebook or YouTube, you'll be notified so you can join me. So uh, I'm still waiting for my guest, Chief Zents Kunle Sowunmi. He's an achiever. He's been in Europe for many years. But I don't want to do competition because when I when I talk about how long, uh, yeah, don't understand that. Hang on a minute. Uh, it's I think we're having some issues. Why I'm not hearing from the. Yeah, give me 1 second to make a call to guest. Bàbá ẹ click lórí link yẹn á gbé yín wọlé. Eh, very unusual. Okay. So ẹ ń gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tí mò ń sọ àbí? Okay, ẹ jẹ́ kí n tún lè. Okay. Màá rí send ẹ̀ sí yín again. Very unusual. Check it. Just stay there. Okay. Yes. Yes. Look, Chief. Okay, you are welcome to my show again. I want to say this to the whole world. I'm not ashamed of one thing. That is, at 77, going 77, there's certain things you lose along the line. When you are driving and you going, maybe, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, but you need to increase it from your end. And what you don't do, please, we had this experience before. Only log on with one device. Only one device. Please don't use two devices. Only one. It has to be one. Otherwise, we'll be having echo and so on. But you are really welcome. You're looking very well. No problem at all. Yeah. Okay. It got to be only one device, please. Well, my guess is we are having difficulties to get connected. As I've said, I am not ashamed that it's an old man show. I am the technical something mechanic everything director, and I'm fixing things on my own. I used to be faster and whatever. And when I started about 20 something years back, we didn't have all this latest technology. That is the truth. And that's why I'm so happy for the youth, the young people that can press the button, do this and do that, pam, 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 and they're there. So my guest is back.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you very well. So
Okay, good.
yes. Now I have been doing the intro. We already live.
Okay, thank you very much.
Again, one thing I need to appreciate now is that I've never seen the picture like this so clear. It's beautiful, nice,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just like
Thanks
the
to Elenu.
yes. I'm like the Shiva I saw how many years back we met at Heritage. That's almost about
That's
six.
right. Yes, that was a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
Almost like 6 or 7 years ago.
Like, yeah,
Yes,
you all putting on age, not weight.
I bet it.
Yes. Now, I want to welcome you. I've been doing intro. All I've been saying to people that switched on already or log on already is to help us share this show. You understand me? So we'll be able to maximize it. Share it, like it, love it, subscribe, and press the notification button for the next time. So you can also help me do that or tell one or two maybe the children around to help you share the invite to people so more people can see you, see us, and to learn from what we are going to. Without further ado, uh, as usual, I want to start by asking you. You've been on my show. I don't want to start counting, and I don't want to start wasting time. But I quickly want you to. Have you added more to your accolade of chieftaincies, or is it? Have you gotten more, or is it the same? All right, quickly go
It's
to.
still, it's still the same. It's exactly what I sent you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, introduce yourself quickly to our viewers.
Um, it is good afternoon, viewers in Nigeria and in UK, and almost, I think it's good afternoon here, also in New York. Chief Zents Sowunmi, Baratai Egba, and Chairman Egba Heritage Foundation. And I'm a published author of several books on Nigeria and politics, religion, and other social developments. I'm also a therapist, meaning I take care of the people with stroke
Hmm.
and upper body problems. So, which is one of the reasons we have just established a nursing home in Abeokuta that is going to take off maybe next month. Um, I've written several books. One of them is The Vultures and the Vulnerable, Ogun State Politics of Manipulation since 1976. This is one of them. My wife is just showing it to me. Ogun State Policy of Manipulation since 1976. And my latest book is this one, which is The Secret of Gabriel.
Okay.
So I write books.
Is
And I
that
also,
more spiritual? Is that something to do with?
yeah, it's a comparative analysis of the three Abrahamic religion of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So
Okay.
we try as much as possible to see where they work together or the conflict there, and if Angel Gabriel actually, whether he was in Nigeria too or in Africa, in the spread of his religion, because he couldn't have been talking about one God and decided to limit it to one or two ethnic groups if it's for the whole world. So that's what the book tried to say about almost 200 and about 200 pages.
Okay.
So that was what the book is. It's available on Amazon.com.
I hope I get a copy of that to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Thank you for the short intro. I know again, like, if I allow you, judging from your achievements, all what you have put together in life, I know we could take 1 hour to do the introduction. And I want to appreciate Nigerians. We are very good when it comes to education. Education. The only problem is how much have we used our education for or to do? These are questions scholar like you we have to deal with, we have to answer. But most of the time we interact apart from the having a show like this. We know each other very well. And it's something that I've always made me to linked with you, wanted to contact you, want to keep the relationship is the kind of a person you are, the kind of things in your mind, how you, the amount of premium you put into how you want it to look like. A lot of people will ask me, "Ìgbà wo lẹ lọ sílé gbẹ̀yìn?" And I say, well, I've not been visiting Nigeria, not because of anything, just because of maybe where I am, I have relatively peace of mind. And when you get to a certain age, going to started running off up and down and running into likelihood of problems, and so you want to avoid it. Now, I've also read and heard about certain area of your thinking. You want to see Nigeria build up, branded in such a way that most of what you get in New York, you are based in New York. You want to see whether we can experiment it. Certain things like talking of a mayor of Lagos, mayor of Enugu, Kaduna, and so on and so forth, and to ensure that city policing, internal securities, and all that. These are the things that I'm sure goes a lot in your mind. Can you walk us through what you have in mind when you say you want to suggest city mayor for big cities in Nigeria?
Again, thank you for having me on your program, and good afternoon again to all the viewers. About five before Buhari became the president of Nigeria, 2013, I wrote a book called The Vultures and the Vulnerable, in which we suggested about 5 things that for our democracy to thrive, we need to add them to what we are doing. Because we cannot be practicing democracy without following all the rules. Certain things should not be mandatory for us in the country. Meaning, in an attempt to make it mandatory, you create oppositions in which the bill may not pass in the House of Assembly and the National Assembly or the Senate, or even for the president's signature, because you're trying to make everybody be what they are not. Some people need to see others doing things very good before they can see the goodness in it. For example, when America introduced state and city police, it was not compulsory. Actually, two states started it first, New York and Texas. Others relied on federal police system. But it took some states like 125 years, states like Oregon, 125 years to see the beauty in it. So it means if we want to introduce state and city police in Nigeria, let states that can see the need for it now start. Meaning, we shouldn't say because we want to start city police in Lagos, we make state like Sokoto or Akwa Ibom or wherever follow. No, let them get to the level that they can afford or doing it. Here in New York, here, as much as we talk about the city police, the Long Island we live here, they believe so much only in county police, not city police. So you have New York police, city New York, what do you call it, NYPD in New York. But we don't have that in Long Island. We have Suffolk County Police because those cities are very small. They don't have enough resources to maintain police. So, but they can come together as a group, like a local government. So, meaning if we have a local government, with a local government in Ogun State, that local government police can take care of my village in Erikeodofi, and every one of them. Whereas in Abeokuta or Ijebu or Shagam, they can have Shagam city police to take care of this. And then everything in Nigeria should not be made compulsory for everybody. Let us grow according to our strength. So when we talk about the mayor, the mayoral system of government, I wrote so many articles on it, and it's even a chapter in the book, The Vultures and the Vulnerable. And in that book, in my research, every city with mayoral system will have a city manager, apart from the mayor. The mayor will control the police, the city police. You'll be surprised, the mayor of New York, he earns very close to what the governor of New York is earning in terms of salary or whatever. And if you're a police officer who can speak one or two more languages, you get additional pay more than those who can speak one language, because this is a multicultural city, meaning people from other tribes or other languages, ethnic groups are here in your state. So if you have a police in Abeokuta who can speak Hausa and Igbo, he should be able to earn more than just a police officer who could speak only one language. So the mayor is the primary channel of distribution you can think of, or development in almost all the states and cities of America here. And if we are following presidential system of government, we should look at what is making it work. But we try to water it down to the level that it doesn't make any sense. Yoruba says, yes, we are trying to follow presidential system, but we are leaving all those key factors that are making it work.
I need to interject you there, and that gives me a lot of worries. Worries in the sense that people like you, well, I don't want to say, and I and many others who are also highly intelligent, highly exposed. They lived in Europe, they live in different parts of highly civilized European countries. And they are back home. Some of them are even in governance. But we are still having to struggle with this kind of idea you are postulating, the idea you are talking about. What exactly is wrong? Why are we not getting at least minimum way of your thinking, another way like I looked at? No water, no light, no road, no nothing. Why are we having that problem? Can we start talking about solution driven? Why we have I get your idea of all what you think. I mean, it's not new to me because I have lived in Germany for many years. I live in America, so, and also in Europe, and I know exactly what you're. And I know how effective, how nicely this structure, this arrangement you are talking about, work for the people. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the people. It's all about providing services. But why are we having issues in Abeokuta, in Sokoto, in Gongola, in Ibadan, in different places? Why are we not thinking in Lagos that what you are talking about
Now,
is,
this is one of the, if I can come in there,
yeah,
Abraham Maslow, in his book, one of his theories,
mm,
Abraham hierarchy of needs. Any nation that has not been able to put an end to those three basic factors, food, shelter, and housing, we always face problem of corruption.
mm,
There's no way you can rule it out. So those three things, we have not been able to solve it. People are still hungry. Um, I was discussing with somebody in Ifo about not selling their father's property. Why don't you think of leasing it out? He said, we need the money now. I said, why don't you just approach somebody where you can get it leased? He said, no.
mm,
So uncle, what do? We sell it off. So these people are ready to sell off their inheritances
yes,
away because of poverty. So until we are able to find a way of lifting the society away from poverty, ideas will be very good on paper. Even apart from that, people who are leaders. When I was writing my thesis for my MBA when I was at University of Ibadan, one of the topics I picked up was at what stage will money stop being a factor that can motivate somebody in the sales department? Because
mm,
that is the purpose of it. Just like Guinness, they're making money. But when your branding of your product becomes something that you stand for, it's no longer about money now. It's not about money that Microsoft is still in business because they just want to remain number one. That's why they keep rebranding and bringing new image, new products out.
mm,
So those we are pushing into government should be people who can see beyond the tip of their nose and they can see the future far away from what they are now. That what is the purpose of this money you're locking up in the bank? Somebody, I heard about 6 point something billion or something was the fund in the account of a 3-year-old person. You wonder how that person opened the account and why is the manager who opened the bank account is still has not been arrested. Why will you open an account for a 3-year-old person and put billions of money there and you did not inform the authority? And if you inform the authority, what did they do? Anything? So those chain or line of communication along that corruption should be accountable. And as long as all those things we are leaving it away, we can't find solution to it. So all these ideas you talk about, some of them, this book, The Vultures and the Vulnerable, when it came out, it was sent to everybody in the government of APC today. It was given to every one of them in the National Assembly. All the senators had a copy. As far back as 2013.
wow,
So you can imagine where did they read the book or they just gave him my own fund and throw the thing away and said, this way I like it. We just bought it because we wanted to make you happy. We don't have time to read. And besides, our reading span in Nigeria is very low. That's why if you write books now, more than in my own time, when we were growing up, you know that, Chief, when we were growing up, Otumba, we like books that are very voluminous.
very,
It shows that you can read, you can have the time. But the
yes,
people now, they just want to go to, is it TikTok? They call it now? That's what they want, something very
yeah,
small. They cannot even spend 2 hours in the library. All they want to do is just go, browse, do things, already pronounced, everything is already made for them to just pick up. So they are not screening, they are not
mm,
working hard on their brain to get more information. It's there for them. So we can't blame them. That is their generation. We
mm,
are probably on our last lap now. But at the same time, what can we do to make sure that we impact the knowledge? At least maybe somebody will wake up. We can't say because they are not following the rules, we just leave
chief,
them and let it.
chief,
Yes.
that's a major hurdle. That's a major problem you just try to highlight. And also that takes me to when you have a situation, Chief Kunle Sowunmi, when you have a situation in a country that workers are not paid months on.
Yeah.
Let me stay with months. But these same workers still fulfill the obligations. They show that they pay their rent, transportation, they still go to work, feeding, they still
Yeah.
pay school fees, they still go to parties. For Christ's sake, see.
Now let me. I have some a personal experience of what
So
happened.
I want to the whole world want to hear from you.
Now
How did they do it? Are these
now
people magicians?
let's. I won't mention the name, but when I was a student at Ogun State Polytechnic, I
Hmm.
was living. We were off campus, so there was a guy who was working for Fedeco then. So he was not paid for about 3 or 4 months, and the landlord was worried. And one day he told us, he said, "What?" He asked us what he could do to get his money back from this guy. So because the guy would come, he would come home very late, like 9. By 5 o'clock or 5:30, he will have gone out. So the man was finding it difficult to find the guy. I told him, I said, look, Baba, if you want to get him, come like 4:30. When you are coming from the Asuba, the morning prayer of the Muslim something, he will be there. And so that day he came. Then I told him, but he knocked. When the guy had the guy, he didn't open the door. He kept on knocking. So Baba came to me, he said, are you sure this guy? I said, yeah, he's inside. Keep knocking, sir. So Papa knocked on. So the guy couldn't do it anymore. He opened the door, said, Papa, good morning, sir. I said, don't greet me. Where's my rent? Ah. And the guy was looking, sir. Yeah, they didn't pay us. The man said exactly what you said. He said he was not paid for almost 4 months. And Baba said, and you never stop going there. Then you must be a thief. You must be stealing there. There must
Exactly.
be something you are doing there that you are stealing from. How can you go to a job that you have not paid for four
Some will go
months,
for
for
two
3 months,
years. Some people
and you
say
keep going
Arabesala
there?
is doing them.
So any job a Nigerian is going and that he has not been paid, and he keeps going, unless his wife is subsidizing for him in the house, he's still in there.
Hmm.
There must be something that's making it up. How do you go to a job they don't pay you? In America here, 1 week they don't pay you, you don't go there anymore. In fact, you report them to the labor department,
It's
and
not
they
going
will
to
get
happen.
all your outstanding. Everything. The company would not exist. But in Nigeria, people go to jail. Even governors don't pay the pension. I had people they've retired more than 5 or 6, 7 years now. They've not been paid their pensions. And I remember when a former governor, before Amuso or whatever, was in government, and all of them lined up, he said, Eshipotoyi, that is you I took. He was expecting them to have been dead so that they could keep him. So some of them, we have a very heartless situation where we don't question those people in the authority. Why can't somebody now? And I'll tell you another experience.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not too much. So when we asked Governor Bisi Onabanjo to pay us our bursary in those days, Onabanjo said, I was one of the student union
That,
national student,
yeah.
Ogun State student that went to confront Governor Bisi Onabanjo. Then he told us that he had no money to pay us because he had to pay the workers. And I told them that then you shouldn't. I said you shouldn't have gone on air to tell our parents that you're going to pay us bursary. Tell the workers in Ogun State to wait for that month and pay us. We have been waiting for almost 6 months. Our parents have stopped giving us allowances because of your promise of 500 naira. And if you are not paying it, let the workers wait for 1 month, pay us, then you refuse. He said we are too big. And then the second time we came, we chased him out of his office. We took over that place. This disrupted the whole, everything in Ogun State. And that very time, then he came back. We went to court and we defeated him in court. The court ordered him to pay us. We take things too for granted. We are too naive or too weak to challenge our government up to Supreme Court. Whether you're going to lose or not, we should have the courage. That's how America fine-tuned their democracy. And that's why they're able to have so many amendments. You have to take them to court. Don't mind whether you are going to win or lose. By the time you get to the Supreme Court, is when you win, it becomes a precedent, whether they have to pay. Or if you lose, it becomes something for the National Assembly to discuss and draw another law to back you up. But we don't do that. We just accept defeat and complain.
We are so resilient. We are so like momoitically linked. We are connected to momoism. We just like Amua along, all that kind of thing. We are and it doesn't happen. Now, let's deal with this solution-driven arrangement. When you look at other clients where things are at least working to clockwise 70-80% of good governance in place, is it one of the system of federalism that is propelling, that is driving them, that a proper structured federalism? Do you want to walk us through? I know you're a Democrat.
The true federalism.
Do you think without this proper federalism is part of our bane? Is it part of our problem that is making life? It's all about human beings, it's all about people. But because the way where Nigeria is structured, is it because we don't have a true proper
federalism?
Can you take us?
Our problem in Nigeria is this: we are looking at true federalism when we talk about it on tribal, on ethnic basis. It's not like that. Every state in America here, they have their own constitution. But Ogun State does not have another constitution more than the federal constitution. But we are looking at it from what happened in the Western region, where Olo was in charge, and we have about 6 or 7 states out of it today. We're looking at true federalism from that perspective. Let every state
have their own
constitution. That's how America is. That's okay. For example, in Texas, if you commit crime, if you kill anybody, the constitution of that state says you should be killed. In New York, they say put him in 25 years. And if you are good, after 10 years or 15 years, they release you. It's not like that in Texas. In Texas, because it's so rich, they don't pay state tax. They don't pay city tax. In New York, we pay city, state, and county taxes. We are too dependent on the federal government. And everything, you see Ogun State governor, every minute is on his way to Abuja. Everybody is on Abuja because that's the center, that's where everything is.
For handouts.
But not even for handout. It shows that they see the president like a god.
Alpha and Omega.
That everybody needs to go there. And it shouldn't be so. His primary responsibility is to Ogun State people. And let me tell you, here in US here, when Trump was asking New York to close down the city because of COVID, they gave him the middle finger. They said, you can't do that. The president does not have the power to control any state. The president in Nigeria, we got too much power at the center. And until we decentralize this thing, until we try to make all states to be on their own, not to secede or have independence of living Nigeria, But 80% of what we give to the federal government should be done by the state, which checks and balances. Each state here, they have their own Supreme Court. You remember that a Supreme Court in Colorado just told Trump that he cannot run for president in their state. In the same way, yes. And the case is going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, US Supreme Court will now decide whether a federal election can be organized or controlled by a state authority, which is another way. It has never happened before. These are the ways they've been fine-tuning their own democracy. We are too afraid to challenge authority. But this Governor President Tinubu had that idea when he was a governor. He was challenging the federal government up to Supreme Court. Some of them he won. But you will now assume that himself as president now should encourage other governors to do that so that they can water down the too much control. But all of them, it's like the issue never happened. Governor Tinubu as governor of Lagos was spearheading state and city police.
Yeah.
I wrote a paper for him.
Yeah.
Yes. I wrote a paper for him. We submitted it. It went to Obasanjo's table. Everything was going on fine. But you now assume that he, as the president, should be the first thing he's supposed to pick up from his table and say, look, these are the things I was fighting for as governor. You understand?
Yeah.
But nobody's talking about it. I understand the thing was approved when it got to Buhari's table, according to Governor, what is his name? That guy from Kaduna, Governor El-Rufai. Everything was approved until it got to Buhari's table. And then just cancel it.
It's very unfortunate. Sorry to you just described the beauty of a true federalism that the states or the counties or local government has a great autonomous, a great arrangement of doing, because people say good governance starts from the local government, because these are the people in the area. They know each other. They know what are the needs of the people there. You cannot be in Abuja and start gaslighting what is going on in Alimosho and all that kind of thing. So I appreciate the way you sensitize us, like with the state of New York, or what New York can do. So in fact, your description fits the argument of there are about 51 or 50 states in America, countries in one big place, and each of these states know their rights. They formulate, they renew, they arrange what they need to do to serve the people. Now, state creation, I think, is also, I've listened to you also, it's also part of your passion. You believe that there are a lot of big imbalances in the way Nigeria and the states are created now. From nowhere, the states in the north, where is the desert, has a large number of, and it's all nothing but all about just to scoop money, to take more money, the more state it is. When you go to these states, this is not been biased. You see that most of these states, they are just not viable. They just create them to create unnecessary aid over others. What's your take in state creation?
Sometimes I'm going to disagree with you a bit on that. Not even all the states in America are viable. Not all of them. But they were based on the way they were created. I remember when when we were young, we were looking for admissions to universities in America. Some of us just like the names. I remember a friend of mine, a colleague, wanted to go to the University of Oklahoma because of the name, Oklahoma. I think I wanted to go to Cincinnati because of the name. It sounded in those days. Only for me to realize that Oklahoma is one of the poorest states in America. They have not much. In fact, of recent, as far as about 5 or 10 years ago, they had to put a casino very close to Gainesville, a city very close to Texas, so that people could come over there and gamble and make some money out of Texas. So most of their workers are working in Texas and living in Oklahoma. Now, we have not really created a state in Nigeria, because the state were created by soldiers, and we just felt that was the way they wanted it to be. Some of them, even people like Babangida, created Delta State to please his in-law. You understand?
Yeah.
Ekiti State was created because Dia could not get Ijebu State out. They took what was given to Ekiti State ought to have been Ijebu State. But because Dia wanted the capital to be in his hometown and not Ijebu, it became a problem that Abacha could not solve. And Professor Aluko, or whatever, this economist of Abacha at that time said, well, I'll take it to my own area. And that's why they have Ekiti State today. You're telling me Ekiti State will be much more viable than Ijebu State? No. So these are the problems. We need to sit down as a country and create the state. Now let me take you back on history. In 1914, 8 months after Nigeria had their amalgamation of North and South protectorates, there was another country that joined Nigeria. That's Egba United Government. It was not part of Nigeria then. But today, that country that joined Nigeria, they have been denied all their lands and territory. In the same way, when Texas joined US, United States of America, in 1845 or 1840 something, they kept their territory. Till today, the same territory that Texas Republic joined US with still belong to the whole of Texas as a state. They didn't cut it. They didn't partition part of it off. But what Egba United Government presented as a country to join Nigeria had been divided into 2 or 3 out of it. So we lost our territory from Ido in Lagos up to almost Songota. You see, thereby reducing the strength of the Egba within it. So that area, I still believe that area should have been a state of its own within Nigeria. The same way would have been Ijebu State, with Shomolu and every area there. So Lagos Island will have remained the smallest state, with that small as it was in those days. Whereas, so we still need to sit down and create a state based on the needs and what will represent our values and history. What we have is just what satisfies the ideas of Babangida, Gowon, Abacha, and the 3 of them, they are created states. Only Midwest met the condition of state creation. Others were just done to make some people happy. The history and development and the history of the people that were involved to become a state were not considered. So you can imagine if Ijebu had been a state, or Ibadan. Okay, they created Enugu State, which was a state capital or a regional capital like Ibadan. Kaduna, they made it a state. Yet Ibadan, the regional capital of the Southwest, was not made a state. You wonder why?
Whom do you play for all this, Chief? Whom do you play? Isn't that the people, the sons and daughters of these regional area that are not very active?
You see, the Southwest, in another forum, in another platform that I used to contribute on Southwest development, the Southwest is more like this Odua solidarity is robbing them the idea of how to see this is where the Southeast is. This is where they are smarter. They wouldn't say because they are Southeast, they shouldn't ask for what should be for Abakaliki or Enugu because it has been given to Usuka. No, they should go ahead and ask. But for example, in Abeokuta now, everything you give to Abeokuta is okay. We are not thinking of Ifo. We are not thinking of Odeda, because we are all together in Abeokuta. We believe it's still the same thing, and it shouldn't be. Everybody is paying taxes to the federal government. We all have a right. So the people from the Southwest, particularly leaders there, they need to see themselves belonging to that very area they have, not to the corporate bodies. So there's nothing stopping the Southwest or the Western region. If we base it on the three regional system we had in the 1960s, let those regions go and create states based on their needs in their region. Then we'll have an idea. Maybe we may not even have up to 36. You understand? We may not even have up to 30.
We'll be having viable
Yes,
states.
viable states can be created by the same three regions that we had in 1960. Give them the ideas. Go and create the state you need in your region, provided they are viable.
Is it right to say also that our constitution, the contracted 1999 constitution, is also an obstacle to this kind of progress?
It shouldn't be. Because if we are blaming the soldiers, soldiers are not in government. The civilians are in government. They can change that constitution, but they are benefiting from it. If you are benefiting from it, you wouldn't like to change it. Everybody believes that the constitution is not good. They talk about it being not good, but when they get to the government and they start awarding contracts, everybody's around them, then they just throw those ideas away and say, we don't have to change that constitution again. Let's see how it can work. The same constitution which Obasanjo operated with, he fine-tuned the more he can do. He could do at that time. By the time he left the government, what happened to it? The next three people that took over messed it up. Then Tinubu is behaving the same way now. He's trying to fix the same thing that Obasanjo tried to fix. And by the time he leaves, the next person is going to do it like what they did to Obasanjo. Unless you go to true federalism, where you allow each state or region now to go and determine how they want to live or grow in Nigeria, you can't fix Nigeria under a unitary system. It's never going to work. Because that's not who we are. Otoba, do you know how many tribes you have in Nigeria? 371 tribes, if not more than that. You cannot use one policy to control the whole. Even Jesus Christ did not. If it's possible, Jesus Christ would have hired one disciple. It took 12. After that, he expanded 70 other people to join them because he knew they couldn't do the job alone. And you remember, 12 disciples. Later on, he had 70 people to join them as apostles to do the job. That is the way it's supposed to be. We cannot use one single policy to control 200 million people, that they don't share the same language, they don't share the same religion. Some believe in God, some don't believe, some believe in African religion. Some 80% of those who call themselves Christian, Muslim, they still go to their other native doctors to consult, to talk to some spiritualists that are even fetish in them. And now you now want to put one policy on the table. Everybody looks at the table like this and the system, they look for how to get around it. And that's why corruption is. People like to get around the whole thing.
Yeah,
because they know the system is not working.
I know. I want to take you back again to when I asked the question. All these are known problems. They are known issues. Do we all know what you and I have been talking about? And because I said I want to get solution from people like you who are nuanced in the solution-driven structure of life. What do we do to get what we want? I'm worried because if you looked at, you just said it, that despite the fact that the subsequent presidents, because it looks like the president is not like everything Nigeria. He's so powerful. In fact, he's so powerful in such a doing machinations, when you compare to powers to of other civilized countries, our own president is less. He's just powerful, not impacting his powers. And you just said you just highlighted the cause of why his one policy cannot fix the problem in Ilorin. His one policy cannot fix problem in Ondo. So the question again I want to ask you is, we have these probabilities, opportunities that can arise. At least we are learning, we are developing. Like any other country, America is still like evolving, because they're going to be there for another how many thousands of years to come. You and I might not. So, is it the idea of people who are saying, carrying the idea of let us restructure? I'm coming back to towards the end of this meeting. I'm going to start talking about one area that I believe too much, but I know that you have always contributed to issue of restructuring. Walk us through, because I have another idea. In fact, I can say better idea than restructuring, but I'm not going to go there. Let me give you the opportunity to talk, to address the issue of restructuring before I go to my own idea.
You recall when people were asking for Yoruba Nation and every one of them
Oh, you're
in
taking me there
before.
already, because that's
I
the
know. I tried to walk you back to that place. I knew what you trying to say, but let me tell you, I said
best.
it. I said we should work with what we have now. Anything that we cannot go through the democratic system will lead to a problem
Anarchy.
that an anarchy that we may not be able to handle. The repercussion of it may not be good for our generation or the coming generation. And Yoruba says, akíkanjú tí ò bá mọ ìgbà tó máa sá, òun ló ń bá ogun lọ,
Then,
àjàmàsá. And then, if you don't know when to ask things, you acted like a stupid person or you made a mistake. And sometimes it's not easy to walk back. The war, which the Germans lost in 1945, made them to lose Togo, Cameroon, and all those things. You
and I
don't get it back. You understand? You don't get them back. But there are many ways to solve problems than going through all those areas. So through federalism and restructuring is one of the ways that we can apply in Nigeria that we can solve most of our problems, whether we like it or not. Thousands of our Nigerians, our youth, they are leaving the country, either by road, by air, or any means, because the atmosphere at home is not favorable to them. You can't blame them. I tell people, I said, my father didn't like it in his village in Eric Yodofi. That's why he relocated to Ibadan in this time. So you can't blame many people looking for the greener pasture in any part of the world if you can't get it. In our own time, it was even very easy when we were growing up to just apply to look for a job, and at least somebody will give you something without looking at your father, your mother, or connections. But they don't have that anymore. You got to know somebody, because the law of demand and supply, what the job we are putting, the jobs that we have now is not as many as it should be to be able to take care of 200 million people. And if you are not growing economically, if you are not growing intellectually, if businesses are not developing, people will like to depend on people to secure job, and corruption will also take place. If you have 5 or 6 or 7 people depending on you to look for a job, of course, and you are in a position to hire, you're gonna look at them and say, let me hire my own people first, or talk to my friends there. But if the jobs are exploding, and I think I discussed this with the commissioner in Ogun State one time, I said, this is one of the ways the president can take credit for job creation in Nigeria. Register all companies in the country. Let them put in a data anybody they hire, even just for 1 month or 6 months, you go to a complete database. So these figures will be given to the president at the end of the month. Then he goes on here, he said, my job, my company, my country, I have created 5 million new jobs. That's how they create jobs in America here. It's not that the president is looking for contract for people. No, he takes credit for all the jobs created, all the people hired in any factory, in any company, because everything goes into a complete database to the Department of Labor, which Labor will give the figures to the president. And when Joe Biden goes out and said, we have reduced unemployment by 5% or 10% in the country, he's quoting all those figures. In the same way, people who loses their job, the same thing will be, they'll place it in the database. Then they'll now look at it. This month we lost 2 million jobs. Which area of the industry was much affected? They look at it. Oh, it's in the construction. What happened? We need to pump money into that. So all these areas give the government the ability to know where to address. Those in Nigeria, in Abeokuta, in Lagos, in Abuja, in every part of, they don't even know whether they are creating more jobs than if they are not. So they don't even know which area of the industry is reducing, is downsizing. What can we do to help that industry? If it is the medical section that the doctors are leaving the country, then the government should be able to know the reason why they are leaving. They don't have equipment, then we need to buy more. So all these areas, we are not looking into it. It's an holistic system. It's not something you look in one area. Everything goes together. So you need a smart person at the top. I understand the President Tinubu is putting something down because it's like operating from a ground zero.
I agree with you.
And when you have a ground zero, you need somebody who's very smart to lay the foundation. Because I'm following some of the things they are doing, particularly the what do you call it, the passport now, which the guy is trying to fix, that you can get your passport within 2 weeks. Even when I was listening to his analysis on the Chinese news, I was clapping for him because I know
that's
that,
Bumi
Ojo. Yes. Yes, but I'm looking at some of the things. If everything can be analyzed and you put in such a way that becomes to a working system, it's going to be a very beautiful nation.
Oh yeah.
But you don't put the whole powers in the hands of the federal government. You need to bring it down to the state and the city level.
And that is why, sorry to interrupt, and that is why also part of my thinking, and the way I look at things in the future is also one of the reasons why I think restructuring might not be the best approach. We started directly and indirectly about generating autonomous arrangement for if we say we want to go away from Nigeria Yoruba self-determination movement, and we say, you know what, we could do better. It's not very far from what you said at the initial stage of this meeting, that we have that autonomy. We can choose, we can do all what we want, and if we still have a close relationship with Nigeria, of course, once every other 3 years we can meet, talk about issues related to whatever. But at least each of these nations that will emerge or that emerges, will be able to do more. Because from look of things, as you can see, look at the case of palliatives, look at case of corruption, look at case of bad roads, no education, no medical, and so on and so forth. All these have been suppressed because of the policy, because of the structure that we have, that it was not working. And I think for the campaigners for Yoruba self-determination, I cannot fault them. I'm one of them. And I believe that it's getting to a point that we can say to each other, we can sit down. The only thing that may be different from some of their approaches is, I believe in negotiating. We need to sit down and negotiate, because this is a political process. like we said, it's not something we can start making arrow and dagger and all that kind of thing. It's not going to take us anywhere. We'll be leaving a bigger wound for our children. Now, I'm going to quickly take you to another area. Another area is also, I believe, is also part of your passion. I must quickly say at this junction, please, those of you who wants to phone in quickly, I'll be dedicating about 10-15 minutes after my interaction with Chief Saint Kunle Sowunmi, a high chief of a bona fide son of Ogun State, highly respected. He's doing very well. He's well known. He's based in New York. Now, you can also contribute. You can send in your comments to the comment section, which I will read when I finish. And also, please do not forget to help share, even though you are still going to see the show anyway thereafter, but help share it so people can see live. Chief Saint Kunle Sowunmi, tell me, the issue of not making progress, you have analyzed it. And the next 4 years, any which way, God forbid, we have President Tinubu, who is from the southwest. Hopefully, he's going to do another 4 years. There's some people, I don't know how wise, what's their wisdom if they say things he cannot do now, he should wait, maybe he wait for another 4 years. What do you say to people that thinking like that way? What can't he do now? I know you can start something that you need to build on that may take another 4 years. But what do you think he should not be doing now?
Now the the question you ask is if some of the things people are asking from President Tinubu should be done in the second term or first term.
Say well.
And let me say here that second term is a bonus. It's not automatic. Otherwise, Jonathan will have been there for second term.
Or Donald Trump.
Yeah. Don't let us. I always tell you, don't let us go to Donald Trump because
you just said it. No, I'm just making. I'm not talking about Donald Trump. That's the truth. No, I'm not going to link Donald Trump to anybody. All I'm saying is, it is not automatic. I'm just trying to buttress what you are saying. That in the first 4 years.
Now, this is it. Certain things where Murtala Mohammed did not wait for 1 or 2 years before he created 7 states.
Yes.
Are you getting me now?
7 or 8 states.
Okay. I think 7 states. I think he turned 12 to 19 states. You remember?
Yeah.
We had 12 before he came there, and he added 7 more to become. Certain things need to be done in first term. But if there's no foundation, like what? I think the 24 years of the democracy we had is enough foundation for any president to do what they want to do in the first term.
To build on.
And build on it on the second term. You understand? And I'm talking directly to the people who particularly from the southwest. I'm an Egba man and Egba chief. I'm a Yoruba man. Are you getting me now? And I love being a Yoruba man. I also love being a Nigerian. But I don't want a situation where my part of Nigeria is such changed to the extent that because we are trying to be nice or not to offend anybody, we're getting pushed to the background. And whether they like it or not, we occupy 30% of Nigeria land from Lokoja to Lagos. You understand? So people who are saying Tinubu is giving more appointment to the Yorubas, they don't know. They're always looking at Yoruba from the 6 states created. We are not 6 states. We are into 10 areas that look like states in Nigeria here. So when you have 10 over 36, we should be getting very close to 30% of any federal appointments. Not to talk of what we're contributing in terms of we pay the higher taxes in the whole country, the Southwest.
That's true.
We are contributing the largest to the Nigerian economy. IGR, Lagos and the Southwest, we have over 50% of what is being generated in Nigeria. And somebody is saying we have more people running the government with and then you want to compare us with some areas with only 2 million, 3 million. That is not fair. Are you getting me? It's very discouraging. But at the same time, when we are talking about restructuring, we want a situation where all the 371 tribes in Nigeria can be proud of being Nigeria. We are not interested in wiping away another tribe away. Because the way we are going with this unitary system now, some tribes will disappear. Some lands, some areas of their traditions will go away. But if we have true federalism, you can grow with your system, with your values. But it doesn't make you a tribalist, or it doesn't make you something. It's just that you want to value what you represent. It's like that even in America here. The Indians, some of them don't pay taxes to the government because the government believed they took part of their land when they came here. In the same way, some areas in America, they've been grandfathered. Like in some areas, they're in Texas, they're in Dallas there. Even though they put schools there, there's something there. They say these people, they've been grandfathered to sell alcohol. Because that's what they've been doing forever. We can't just wipe away their own lifestyle because we want to put something there. The system must recognize that we are not born of the same mother. We don't have the same language. We don't have the same religion. Our constitution must recognize that in allowing us to grow. So you cannot say because you're a Muslim president, you want to put Muslim ideology on Nigeria, or it's only when a Muslim comes to you that you give attention to. Or when a Christian is president, what about the people with Isheshe? Why will the Christians have 7 holidays in a year, the Muslims 7 days in a year, and the Isheshe can only have 1? Why not 7/7 to everybody? This country belongs to every one of us. It's not for them alone. It's not for Christian alone. It's not for Muslim alone. And if we must be right, the Sheshe people, the traditionalists, they own this country before everybody.
That's right.
So we cannot push them aside as if they didn't exist. We do so many things. Our kings supposed to follow all our rules before they become kings. And then they just pass a law that certain king, they can't follow the rules anymore. If you don't want to follow Isheshe, don't be a king. You understand? This is our tradition. This is who we are. You left your comfort zone of Christianity to say you want to be a king among the Yorubas. But you cannot ask us to wipe away our own for you. Let the family tell somebody else who can follow the rules. So the way we operate should be the way who we are. Don't let us try to be white men. We are not.
And
are you getting me now?
Yes, and that takes me to my nephew. He always say, "Aye alaye ni dudunlo, aye alaye," because we have never been allowed to develop to fullest our own way of life.
Yes.
We are. I mean, we inherited. We accommodate, but then in the process, we now inherited aye alaye, which is aye awon oyinbo. It's not our own developed correct way. Now, let me quickly take you to another area. Of recent, we have heard on the international fora that another tribe, I mean, we've been talking another possible nation in the nation of Nigeria, the Igbo people, they have now gotten to a point of setting up branches of the Biafra nation into 2 or 3 places. Sam Ekman is the prime minister of Biafra, even though he's based in in Spain. I mean, in Finland. Then, but he then sent messages. He rules. I mean, according to him. But this splinting or separation by force, whatever. What do you want to say to Sam Ekman? Just 1 minute on that, because I
Now,
take you on a couple of other things.
now,
Not getting that we Yoruba, that we want our own nation, we are negotiating, we are talking, we are not violent, we will never be violent with Nigeria. We want to talk it through to make sure that we got it
uh,
rightfully.
I've always, I've always believed that anybody or any tribe who feels that they don't want to be part of Nigeria, they should table it at National Assembly.
Political, I agree with you.
Let it be discussed. You see, the problem with this Biafra is that the case has never been discussed at the National Assembly. Whether the proposal will fail or pass, let them take it there and be defeated. Then the armed struggle will become necessary or will make sense to them. But they are too scared of taking it to a constitutional way of solving it. I don't know about this Akman guy in everywhere, but I knew when South Africa were asking for their own independence, they had offices in Lagos, in Nigeria, and everywhere in the ANC. They had it. They should have made it in such a way that it should not be too confrontational. They should have used that office in whatever they had in Spain there to raise funds to finance the people who are running for office to ask for the Biafra in National Assembly, so that you can get people you can trust, fund them to run for office and ask questions.
Just the
But
same
the
thing
way but the way they are going,
yeah.
the way they are going about it is not going to succeed, because you need the thing to be debated on the floor of National Assembly, even before United Nations cannot just come in and say, I divide
I know.
Nigeria, this people should go away.
I know.
It's not possible. To get their Biafra, if they want it, or the Yoruba nation, it must be discussed on the floor of the National Assembly.
I
So
agree.
you sponsor people who can represent your interests to go there and win election and ask for it.
I agree with
And
you.
as long as you going about all those areas, they're just wasting time. Maybe they are making money out of it
Yes.
to some people who don't know the rules. But as long as they keep on what they are doing, they're just making noise. And one day
agree
they'll be
with you.
arrested. They'll be arrested and be treated like a Kanu, and
Yes.
they're put in detention or jail for a long time.
Yes.
You understand? But anytime they take it to the National Assembly and they discuss it, they may get the favor, and they get it, or they may win and say, why don't you just let it go? Let's just set up committee to discuss the boundary of the new nation, and how can we work together as a country, as 2 countries or 3 countries.
I agree
And we
with
all
you.
be happy. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And the same thing, I, as Olabode Oseni, also prescribe to the Yoruba campaigners that, look, this is a political thing. Let us take this into the floor of the of NAS, the National Assembly, and then the Senate. Let us discuss it. The day we discuss it, the day we have 4, 5, or 3 rep that move the motion, the whole world will know about it. Because as it is now, the whole world cannot get Yoruba nation for us. You just said it.
Yeah.
The whole world cannot get a Biafra nation for any Biafra. It's just going to be honestly bloody, and it's going to be very sad. Now, having said all this, and we should also take advantage. I don't know whether you are aware that we had a couple of moderate Northerners who have come out openly. And this is the difference between some Northerners and ourselves. They speak up. I don't know why we in the South refuse to speak up, things that can benefit us. This Northerner said, nobody, I want you to listen to this, Chief Zents, nobody should fight to keep Nigeria together anymore. No 1 hour should be wasted. No dime should be wasted. No blood of anything should be wasted. All what it is now is we just need to sit down and talk. And I think that's a wonderful invitation. You just said it yourself. So why?
When did they say it?
Oh, I can send when I finish. I can send it to you.
Is it when Buhari was there or after he left office?
No, that was presently. That's about 2 months ago. Now,
You see, that is the situation. We too in the south. We were asking all those things before our own man Yoruba man becomes before we have Tinubu now. So people, most tribes in Nigeria, as long as they have their own people at the end of affairs, the level of agitation goes down. You understand? Find an Igbo man today as president, you will not hear of Biafra anymore. You understand? The people who are talking of Yoruba nation, they are not making noise anymore because we have a Yoruba man as president. Then we know something. Then we should understand that one thing is strong with what is wrong with us is we just want to be treated fairly. Because we believe anybody there that is not from your tribe is not going to treat you fairly. So that's why you keep saying you want to leave. But if you put this thing at the floor of the National Assembly, let's discuss it. It's not going to break Nigeria. I'm serious. It's going to make Nigeria stronger so that we can look at the areas that we are treating each other badly and correct it. Like, if I'm president, I don't have to take control of the security of a state because I am Yoruba. I'm not going to be able to understand how they want to be treated in Akwa Ibom or Enugu. Give more powers to the state government. Let each state of the country, let them have their own constitution. We have a federal constitution, but we must have a state constitution. This is how America fixed their problem. Every state.
Chief, I think I have a caller for you. Let me. I have a caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes. Do you want to make a contribution? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm on a live show. Do you want to make a contribution?
I just want to make a contribution to somebody saw Yoruba investor
No. I'm going to have a problem with that. You can mix it. At the end of the day, the show is, as we speak, the show is about Nigeria and Yoruba nation. And I can tell you, there are many of our Yoruba citizens that also do not speak Yoruba. So let us respect the lingua franca we have now. We are going to get to Igbo land, Brom land, and then we can speak whatever language. So if you want to contribute, that's fine. If you speak, and my guest my guest can speak Yoruba, but if the listeners, the viewers all over the world, the not knowing the number of people watching this doesn't really matter. So please, if you can address us in English, that would be nice. Having said that, I'm not trying to say don't speak Yoruba. Chief Kunle Sowunmi, I have a caller from he wants to speak Yoruba. I'm saying because the nature of the program is not 100% Yoruba program as I speak. So, do you want to take his call in Yoruba?
Yes, yes, I'm a Yoruba man. I will take his call.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Shei.
Okay. Sir.
You need to speak up, speak up.
Okay. I appreciate customers of it falls entirely into some of the things that actually solve the past in Nigeria because everyone's going on we are not practicing the real thing, federalism. Because can practice federalism and practice federalism to one by another. The journalism to want school, but go on talk. Now, with that, mo kàn fẹ́ add pé wọ́n sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé àwọn ọ̀pẹ̀ àkókò àpẹ kan sponsor ẹ̀yẹ kan sponsor this kan sponsor that. The problem is àwọn tí wọ́n ń jáde fún politics ń sìn wọn ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ náà nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọn ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn èèyàn wọ́n mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n àti sọ mo fẹ́ sọ fún wa pé ní last year Last year, 2022, 2022, there was this Igbo man, whatever he was state to the venue in that state. Also, what discuss or or command to that time, Gabia Miller was the house speaker, but he was not part, he was not outside the country, I can't remember. So there was this deputy one in the argument in floor of House of Assembly. So, but the man was also, but the guy the deputy was telling him to shut up. People were so I'm wanted so one sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà, one fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà, one fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ bóyá bí Nàìjíríà ṣe máa da àbí bí Nàìjíríà ṣe máa mú forward. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ wà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n ti bribe wọn, wọ́n ti threaten wọn, wọ́n máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ ìpè ká jókòó báwo la ti fẹ́ pín ọ̀ báwo la ti fẹ́ gbàgbé àndó ara wa. There's no way that I continue by because the thing we are on we we are not practicing, but we are practicing the feudal military thing. Also, every time Abuja, every time President Tinubu or the Kudas Bubunko, American every time the Britain does or Washington don't be it's not concerned with what is happening in Washington. There is a mayor there and is controlling Washington. We are perfect and we are perfect.
But what's the question? The question is very lot of the time because we are running.
No, question how we look like a real thing. Present in Nigeria, Hawaii. How we as a very true representative to combine and when you want to okay. Only politics don't play Nigeria, we all know it. You really think but you move in the response of it. You will go to the develop okay. And when you're meeting, let's develop. You will what will be bribe? You will I'm not going to bribe anyway. But she will tell me money down when you need to down when you need to pay. But it's not there.
Now, I get him down.
But they will not go there. They will go to destroy their destiny and 25 naira where bank will get on. The question is how is it going to be possible? It's not America, it's not France, it's not UK.
Thank you very much, Nicola. I'm going to refer you to the book, The Vultures and the Vulnerable. It was released in the 2013. I wrote the book. And one of the things I suggested then was, and I know Otumba will bear me witness, we call it Expanded Primary System, yes. EPS. We discussed it on your program when I was in England with yes. you. And I would give you an example of what happened in was it in Maine State or something of recent. The former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, who wants to run for president on the Republican Party. So they had to take his name away in the state of Maine because you need 2,000 signatures to be allowed to run for president. In that state, he had only 884. So people just wake up in Nigeria and say, I want to be president. We don't have a standardized system which will determine who will run for office. In that program called Expanded Primary System, I think I said it that if you want to run for president or House of Assembly, you need the signatures, not just the opinion of a godfather to run. No governor, like Governor Wike openly was saying that he sponsored the governor of River State. He said none of them paid any money to run for the office. He paid for it. He should have been arrested.
For that statement, yeah.
For that statement, because he was trying to buy democracy. bind the system in the country. It's not possible. You see, most of the things that we are doing, things that we are doing it wrongly. That's why we said it before. Sabi Ologun ṣe wí. We are not doing it in the right way. If we say before you run for office, you need 5,000 signatures before you become something in Lagos State, and 500 from each of the local government, and there must be people that are verifiable people to know that you want to run, and they put their signatures for it. Then that's when you can start raising money to be able to say you want to run for office. If you don't meet that first criteria, you leave. You can't even move forward. So in Nigeria, we have that problem. If I want to be senator, all I know is to be a friend of the governor. And I'll tell him, I say, look, go and get so and so for me. I say, okay, no problem. I'm funding it for you, 2 billion, 5 billion. Why would that person who become the senator be responsible to the people? He will be only responsible to his godfather, who paid for his ticket. And when you get to Abuja, you will expect that person to speak and ask of your needs. No, he is not going to speak. He's going to, first of all, go to his godfather. This is what is going on. He said, don't talk about it. Just leave them alone. And that is the problem we have in Nigeria today. We got to get to the root of how do we get people to represent us at all state levels, state and federal. And that's why we recommended in the book expanded primary system, EPS. Until we do it, this is the situation. People who be going to National Assembly, they be spineless people. Their responsibility and loyalty is straight to their godfather. So those who went to the National Assembly and they said they want to talk about Odua State or Biafra State or Arewa State, by the time they ask them to keep quiet, because if they don't want to keep quiet, they say, look, we make you chairman of this committee where you can make money. Then you forget about everything about the Odua or your Arewa or Biafra. You see, this is the situation. Like everything boils down to Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs. We have not solved the first stage of it: food, shelter, and housing.
Yes, those three.
So that's why people can give rice to win election. I don't see where they distribute rice here in America for election. You put your name there. You want to do things there. I've been here for I've witnessed more than 7 or 6, what they call it, since Clinton. I've witnessed all their presidential election. But what I'm seeing in Nigeria, where the governor bag his own rice and the senator, everybody is trying to do that one. That seems to be enough disqualification from the system. But before you become a senator, you're already into debt of 5 or 6 billion. How do you recoup your money? How do you get it back? So you expect that person to be loyal to you? It's not.
It's not going to happen.
It's not.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Because of time, I remember we had before the shows began that we are not going to stay all that long because of your time, and also I have another show later this evening. Now, I want to thank I want to thank the caller, is regular, Mr. Shea. I want to appreciate you. Now, the one final area I want to talk, because I think I can have another 5 minutes to play with. If we see how the caller, I will allow the caller to come in. Now, Chief Sowunmi, I want to appreciate you. We have extensively talked about the area that I know that you want to engineer, you passion them, area of how good governance should be put together. And based on the 1 or 2 books, now, as we speak, the way things are in Nigeria, isn't that becoming so endemic? Our cultural values. What exactly is the argument for a minister who is given the privilege, the opportunity, the honor to serve his or her people? Now, within a short period of time, started stealing money does he not read the manual of her job, that things like this, the money that that's putting you in care to distribute, it has to be direct. You don't need to take another contractor to do another contracting job, because in the process, apart from common sense, if DWB is the department dealing with elderly people, pensioners, and so on and so on in UK, they pay directly to you. There's no any agency in it, because once an agency come into it, agency are entitled to charge to make money from their consultation. In the process, not everybody is going to get what your entitlement is. So what's your quick take? Again, like I said, we have maybe about 5 minutes to go. About the recent uh, 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 thing you are hearing, that ministers are now getting involved in not only corruption but in stealing.
The stealing is not something that people can say. Most people who are caught, they didn't start it for the first time. They've been doing it for a long time.
So
Maybe from the time they've been doing it from the time they've been stealing from their mommy's pot as a kid. You grow up with it and you become an expert. So all the idea is my first time doesn't exist. There's nothing like first time. You've been doing it from the time you were a kid. From the minister, maybe you're talking about the humanitarian minister or humanity. But that's a corrupt ministry. The person that was there was under surveillance of the EFCC. So the same civil servants that work with the first minister you see, as a minister, there is something you cannot steal without the civil servants.
It's not possible.
It is not possible. They have the file. They are the one going to tell you what to do, where to sign, and everything. You can't just say transfer this money to my account, and they are looking at you. They say, okay, you want to formula, you take this side, you do this side. This is how we've been doing for your last minister. You remember what Bolage said? Bolage, when he was made the minister for power.
Power, yeah.
He said he visited one area. When he was about to leave, somebody packed 2 million naira and gave it to him. He said, what is it all about? They told him, he said, this is how we've been doing for every minister. When they come to this section, we pack their 2 million, we give it to them. So these civil servants, they are the core of a corrupt system. Until you learn to clean the system, you cannot just fire the minister.
How do you clean the civil servants?
No, you fire. Listen, you fire the minister. You fire the minister, but the director general, the permanent secretary that organized the trouble, they are still there. They just lay low. They bring the next minister. They cool down. They fine tune the system and find a better way of doing it. Okay, this minister, what did she do? She awarded the contract to a fellow minister's ministry, company. And that one stupidly was asking questions that and from the program I watched on the channels yesterday about one lawyer in Neg or something, the way he analyzed it took me back to my days in the of business law and all those things. Yes. You realize that the minister said, "Oh no, the company does not belong to me. I just have shares in that company." The man told you, the shareholders are the owners of the company.
Exactly.
You can even appoint an external director to run your company. The law does not say you have to put your own staff there. If you feel you cannot do the job, you can hire somebody from outside to be a director of your company to run it for you. But as long as you are a shareholder of that company, then he mentioned something which made me to remember Justice Demola Bakri when he was teaching me law. Lifting the veil on a company. You can move and say, who are the people behind it? That company belongs to you and your wife. And I don't want to say this. You remember what when Morocco case of Awolowo's case one time, when Concord opened up Morocco, Awolowo said the company belongs to the Dolu estate.
Papa's land.
Everybody say, Baba, we know that, but there's nothing the Dolu can do without you not knowing about it. But on a more serious note, the minister, as long as, like they did analysis of it on yesterday, they should just cancel that contract. That's the only way by which he can keep his job as a minister. That company should need to forfeit that contract and leave it so that he can be exonerated. Otherwise, his hands are dirty.
Yes.
He may need to leave if Tinubu wants to clean up the system. But what they don't realize is this: what did he, as a minister, promise that minister who gave him or his company the contract? Is his own company also? Is the minister's, is humanitarian, whatever, humanities minister, is our own company also taking contract in the internal affairs using the same system on what they call quid pro quo? Do for me, I do for you. They may be doing it. I'm going to present my company that I've said I present as chair, as a director. You give the contract in exchange for you to presenting your own in the same way to me. So they need to know. By the time they check the phone record of the two of them, the way they were talking about this thing, they will find out that both of them are all the ministers. They are actually doing it among themselves. It
becomes a part. It is a pattern.
Yeah, it's a pattern. So it can. Yes.
I mean, I know you also have a PhD, doctor, but you hardly want to use it. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. I will address you as a personal friend. Chief,
That's what.
I genuinely want to appreciate you. I know if you and I want to continue like this, we'll continue another 2-3 hours. But because we agreed we are not going to stay longer than that. You're also aging. Everybody is aging.
That's right.
Enjoy the Sunday with Madam. And I want to appreciate you for coming to my show.
Thank you.
Those of you who took time to log on, to sign on, and also help us to share. And again, the program can still be watched on YouTube, on Facebook. So it's my pleasure again being with you again. I have another guest tomorrow and have another thing doing tonight. Thank you very much for coming. My best regards and Happy New Year to you all over again.
And happy. Thank you very much.
All the best in 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, folks, this is where we are going to close this show. It's just another one. First in 2024. More to come. And again, like I said, I'm working towards 1 or 2 projects towards my March birthday. And I'm looking forward to be not 27. No, I wish I would 7. So thank you very much. Bye bye.